So let's understand the justice of God. How does God give us justice? There is a measure that God goes by, and this is a standardized justice. So I learned this at my seminary and also from my pastor because one time he did say, who are you going to receive your sanction from? Is it going to be from the devil or from God? You do something, it's gonna, it's a penalty. You do something against others, it's a penalty that you are gonna derived from. There's something that you gotta do to fix that penalty. And sometimes at times it's just talking to your higher deity, and asking him to remove your penalty, because nobody gets away with anything. I have learned that the hard way, but I'm sure a lot of us have. So, in when coming into recovery, right, we do make amends, and we have to know how to proclaim our sanction, right? What our amend and our standard of amend is, right? So we go and apologize to people that we have hurt while we were doing our drugs and alcohol and stuff like that, right? But we got to know a level of it. Sometimes it's that we can't meet that level because the person has given us a perpetual sanction, right? A perpetual sanction is a sanction of hate, a sanction that, it's perpetual, and it's basically derived from evil, from the devil. It's something that you can't go against. It's the person has that against you. That is just the way it is. Just what we do is just pray for them, and hopefully one day, they could come into reasoning that what it will give them and you some sort of liberation, right, of forgiveness. But we gotta know our standards. You're not gonna go and beg someone to forgive you while you did something when you were drunk and stuff like that. You ask forgiveness, and hopefully they can come into reasoning. And if they love you enough, most likely they will. You have your relationship with God, and you ask him, hey, you know what, God, forgive me. And be spiritually inclined, always spiritually inclined, because the little, the other side of things are always gonna be there. And all they do is, all what we say in church, all he does to come is what? Steal, kill, and defeat you. And like, where do you want that? No, who wants to be on that side of things? What do we do to hurt others? So in my notes, I put, what does one do to hurt others? So this is so I could know for myself that how not to hurt others, right? Because we get it that we hurt others, right? We do. And sometimes it's intentional, and sometimes it's unintentional, right? So in my two, my chart, I don't like to say chart because I can't say it, but chart, it's intentionally and unintentionally, right? So unintentionally, we have the loving sanction. So a sanction is a penalty, right? And unintentionally, we have the hate sanction, which is the hate penalty, right? Which is the hate penalty. That is unintentional. It's like, again, the little devil and the little angel, right? So when we do the loving sanction, like as a parent, right, we give them a penalty, right, to our children, to people we love, and stuff like that. And then the ones that are unintentional, they could also be motherly, brotherly, and sisterly, and fatherly, but it is not a perpetual penalty. It's not a penalty that is is gonna be a threat to the intention, if that's like. So The penalty of the universe is basically the decision of the penalty, the decision of the sanction, like what the universe itself is gonna give you as a sanction. Like the only one that's gonna give you that is a standardized justice. It's the justice itself, but coming from the higher deity that what it's gonna say, hey, this is what you deserve as a penalty. And then there's the penalty of hate, the penalty of the lower sanction, the one that is standing over here. And then they both sanction you, and they both want to get you. And the thing is that you're gonna have the brotherly sanction, and you're gonna have the devilly sanction. So when we commit something that is unjustified, and God says that he will put his wrath on you, you know what, he is not the only one. So this is why we have to be very aware of the things that we do to others. We all have to take that divine challenge, that divine responsibility, and liberate our egoism, because everything we do is gonna come back to us. Sometimes we're blindsided. We see that, hey, there's no justice, but you know what,